Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Women's Soccer Show, Season 4.
No way.
Season 4, Episode 1. This is a brand new season. We're so happy to be back. We had a ton of fun doing Olympic coverage, though, so you have all heard from us in the recent past. But now we're kicking this season back off at a perfect time. We've got the WSL up and running. We've got the NWSL heading into the playoffs. So we're so excited to be really kicking it off this week. We also have a new presenter here named Allie.
Hello, everybody. I'm sure you've heard me on the Patreon, and they brought me back for reasons.
That was the most
unknown.
Unenthusiastic. We're not holding her against her will, everybody. She does want to be here, we promise.
Sarah, you need to learn the British ways. That is the most enthusiastic we get.
Exactly.
That is literally, I'm so happy to be here.
All of the Americans listening were like, what in the world? Why isn't she like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I'm here. Thank you for having me, everybody.
When we first started and you came on, I was like, whoa, this girl loves football. She loves this sport, man.
I do. And I want everybody to know it. Just so everybody knows, I think it's just important to put it out there because Helen tried to keep her fandom a secret. I think it's important to put this out there. Allie is a West Ham fan. So it's okay. We don't have to have fights over title contenders with Allie, so it'll be totally okay.
Is that a slight against my team?
Absolutely. And many more to come.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
So we are going to kick it off. Those of you who don't, go follow us on social at the WOSO Show because it's going to be such an awesome season. We're covering it here, and of course, we're covering it always on our socials.
Let's start off with I think halfway through the day we thought we had the game of the day, and then this game happened, and then we got the game of the day. Arsenal against Manchester City in their home, Boreham Wood. Shocked would be a word I would use. Guys, do you want to give me like a one-word response to the game? Allie?
Definitely shock. I don't think anybody picked that one up.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
I'm stealing yours.
Stealing my word.
I'm trying to think of the English word for like elated.
Elated? I like elated. We'll take elated.
But English,
What
I meant
about you?
British. Sorry, that wasn't English. Buzzing. That's the one I was thinking. I'm absolutely buzzing, mate.
Arsenal are going from looking down and out at the end of last year to, the exit of Joe Montemiro, to us thinking, what's next for Arsenal? Looking at the teams in 4th, 5th, 6th, thinking, who's going to be taking that coveted third spot, all the way to, beating Chelsea in the opener, and yesterday taking on Manchester City, and not just beating them, literally trouncing them would be the way of putting it. They won 5-0. 5-0 against Manchester City is an incredible feat. Now,
Helen, do you need a tissue?
I need a tissue. I'm very emotional today. It's really difficult. We talk about it every season, and I don't want to go on and on about it. One of the most difficult things about doing podcasts like this and doing other bits and bobs around women's football is so difficult to get hold of just like the facts. Obviously, we watch the game, so it's pretty easy to sort of stay on top of it. But I can't find anywhere where it just lists the injuries that Manchester City have. And I'm not going to start with the excuse, but all I will say is, off the top of my head,
You just started with the excuse, though.
I was going to say.
it's so hard not to when you look at this is their entire defence on their website. Demi Stokes, Alex Greenwood, Steph Horton, Esme Morgan, Lucy Bronze, and Alana Kennedy. And they have Demi Stokes, Alex Greenwood, and Alana Kennedy left. Like, then you look at their goalkeepers, Ellie Roebuck, easily their number one, is out. Their midfield, you go across it, they've got Jill Scott, thank God, back from their loan deal, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have a midfield. They've got Kira Walsh is out. They've got, I think Ruby Mace is out. And then you go to the forward, you've got Chloe Kelly's out. You've got Janine Becky's out. Lauren Hemp is looking really like on the verge of injury.
Becky's in.
Is Janine Becky okay?
Becky's
well,
okay.
that's a relief.
And Mace is fine. Mace was on the bench.
I thought when I saw Ellen White go down, because she never goes down, and stays down, I thought, another one. But I think what it all comes down to for me from the Manchester City perspective is Gareth Taylor. Like, so we can talk about the injuries until we're blue in the face, and the injuries that there is no doubt that has killed them off. But Gareth Taylor isn't a manager in the top tier of football. when you look at the likes of Emma Hayes, who really Manchester City are competing with Chelsea or have been competing with them for the last couple of seasons. When you look at Emma Hayes, it's just they're worlds apart. And we were talking about, and we'll get on to the Manchester United game, talking about Emma Hayes on the sidelines, furious at 3-0 with her team, furious with their positioning, furious with how their wingers weren't getting back. And she changes the game at half time, and then she comes back out with basically a completely different setup. The players are masterminds now of the Emma Hayes style. And then you go to Gareth Taylor. How long are we going to give this guy? He's got arguably the best player in the world in Lucy Bronze. He's got arguably one of the best midfields in the WSL. He's given an armoury in the windows to buy players like Vicky Losada, who's just come off the back of winning the Champions League. How much longer are we going to give him? And Manchester City, what have they got out of it? An FA Cup since he's come in? I mean, it's just not good enough. And I just don't think that he is a WSL top 3 manager.
Absolutely. We talked about this all season last season because, I mean, Manchester City had a terrible start to the season last year. Terrible start to the season this year for different reasons, or maybe even the same. But quite frankly, we've talked about this at length. Gareth Taylor is not qualified for the job he has. He does not know how to manage a team of this caliber tactically or off the field, quite frankly.
It's looking that way. Yeah, what you say about off the field, it looks that way.
It's definitely looking that way. And you mentioned injuries. Injuries are, yes, they're there, they're present. They've sidelined a lot of good players and key players at City. But nonetheless, you look at their lineup and they have a star-studded lineup that they're still fielding. They've got Lauren Hemp, Ellen White, Caroline Wheeler, Janine Becky, Georgia Stanway, Laura Coombs. With a lineup like this, Gareth Taylor should be able to produce a result much, much better than he was able to produce against Arsenal. And it's simply not an excuse to say that we're only losing right now because we are injured. It's a much deeper reason why they are losing. And it could be partly what happened last year for City, where they're still gelling. This is a bit of a different team. They've lost a lot of players. And frankly, the common denominator of Gareth Taylor. I just have to say about City, the defense absolutely was atrocious this game. I've spoken about Alana Kennedy before, saying that I think she is an inconsistent center back, and she proved it this game. Alex Greenwood, usually consistent, definitely led to a lot of mistakes that Arsenal was just able to capitalize on. And the two together, with the experience that they have, need to do better for City, and that's on their shoulders, and that's also on the shoulders of Gareth Taylor.
It's so difficult with the defence stuff. One thing I will say, and I've said it all this season, obviously we haven't covered the other games this season, but Demi Stokes just isn't a top 3 WSL player anymore. It's just simply the case. She's got a great legacy with Manchester City, and she's got a great legacy with England, but she shouldn't be in that England squad anymore. She shouldn't be in that Manchester City starting lineup anymore. You're talking about unrest, and I think, there've been rumours flying, and if this was the men's league in the Premier League, we'd know a lot more. But it's the fact that we're noticing these little arguments, these little things creeping in, as players are walking off the pitch with him. I think he's got to go. I don't think he will, because I think that's women's football, and I don't think they see bad results in women's football and go, oh my God, we've got to make a decision now. Wouldn't be surprised they gave him the rest of the season. I don't think Manchester City are going to finish in the top 3 anymore.
That's a big call. I think that they'll finish in the top 3 only because of United not finishing in 3rd, but it'll be a close race for 3 between City and between United. On the other hand, I'm very excited to talk about Arsenal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of those things that as much as we want to talk about how bad City were, you cannot take away from Arsenal with that clinical performance. You want to talk about new managers. They went for a proven manager, whereas City, dare I say it, went for the cheap option. They thought they were going to get another Nick Cushing, and it hasn't quite worked out that way. And from the offset, you knew Arsenal were there to make a point. Last season didn't quite go to plan. They scraped into Champions League by the barest skin of their teeth. As somebody pointed out to me, they got there because Kate McCabe fell over. But they had a point to prove, and they made a statement by beating Chelsea first game, and they've made a massive statement this game that you cannot underestimate. And you look at the players they've got. They have got Beth Mead. They have got Kim Little, who is still out there. And I think that leadership maybe is what City are missing with Steph injured. But you've even seen a new spark in, say, Viv, who's been one of their most consistent players since she signed over from Bayern. And she's suddenly, like, they're all saying, oh, you couldn't do it against the big club. Well, she's now proving, yes, she can. And not only is she getting the goal, she's getting the assists. And again, it's just this brand new player that we haven't seen for a long time coming out of Viv. So Arsenal are exciting, man. They are very exciting.
So exciting. And so exciting to see their bench included Jordan Nobbs, Nikita Paris, Caitlin Ford, and Tobin Heath. And the addition of Tobin Heath makes you kind of look at that bench and think, wow, this bench kind of rivals Chelsea's bench now a little bit. Like the names, the talent, the subs that they can bring on, those are huge additions. I mean, some of those names are additions, some are not, but the fact that they have this bench now is a huge addition to this squad. And I gotta say it, title winners this year, I think so.
I was listening to an interview with Tim Stillman, who's obviously a massive Arsenal fan and covers the game, and spoke to the manager, and they were saying, Tobin Heath, but you've got Beth Mead, who's been on fire. And you've got Nikita Paris, who's just spent a lot of money bringing her over from Lyon and bringing her home. And of course, Nikita Paris is coming back off being the WSL's top goal scorer historically. So she's going to come back and be firing on all cylinders. And basically, the new Arsenal way, which I don't think anybody's really been expecting, is going to be so reliant on their wingers because they're going to press so high. So even in moments where they're winning 2-3-0, their entire game plan is going to be to press the centre-backs, cause these errors. And arguably, you know, we can talk about all of City's misdeeds, but that goal came from an error, granted, but they had to be pressing to make that error happen. So that strength and depth, can you imagine? Champions League quarter-final, and Nikita Paris is on, and they go, right, okay, let's look to our bench. Who've we got? Oh, we've only got Tobin Heath to come on for the last 15 to get us a goal to get through. I just think it really bodes well for the rest of the season. It's just so exciting. And they're versatile players as well. They can play on the left, right. And apparently Beth Mead wants to be a striker and out. So, you know, if ever they're in an issue where Viv's injured, they've got that backup. And Beth Mead is going to be on fire this season. She's going to have a worldie, I can tell.
I mean, you make some fantastic points. I could talk about this for ages, but I promise I'll keep this part shorter. I'll try to. Number one, we just talked about how City looked like they were arguing. They just weren't having fun. Arsenal was the complete opposite. You can tell that they love each other, that they love playing with each other, that they're enjoying what they're doing. I mean, we talked about this in the Olympic coverage with the U.S. team. They were not having fun. And guess what? That translated. And Arsenal right now, they're really enjoying life. I will say with the wingers, when we're talking tactically, you mentioned that they were high pressing. And I think that that's such a great point because how they're playing right now, they've got Beth Mead and Katie McCabe playing on the wings on the left and the right, kind of flanking Vivian Miedemar, and they're staying really far wide on the sidelines, and that's opening up so much space in the middle for Miedemar. We saw last season she was always triple teamed. She never had enough space to work with the ball. She barely had enough time to take two touches. With Mead and McCabe staying so wide, it's forcing that defense to kind of spread out a little bit, and it's opening up the field for Vivian Miedemar and for Kim Little, who Allie just shouted out, who, you know, she is the heart and soul of this team, like you said. So just tactically what they're doing, and they were able to, with those runs out wide, break down lines, and it was absolutely beautiful. All right, with that, Helen, grab a tissue, shed your final tears.
Should we go around the world?
Let's go around the world.
Around the world, around the world.
So we are going to the Spanish League, and can someone overthrow Barca? Barca coasted to an 8-0 victory over poor Valencia, while Atletico Madrid took care of Sporting with a 3-0 win. Only 3 games played so far and 3 undefeated teams left.
Over here to the U.S. in the NWSL regular season, which is winding down to a close. With 4 more weeks of games to play, the playoff picture is looking spicy. The top 6 in the league will make the playoffs, and currently we have a tight race at the top between rivals Portland and Seattle. Portland is sitting with 38 points. Seattle is just 3 points behind. And for everybody else, it's up for grabs. The point difference between the number 3 spot and the number 8 spot is only 4 points. So North Carolina Courage are in 3rd with 29 points, and Gotham FC over here in New York are in 8th with 25 points. It is literally up to these last 4 weeks to see who makes the playoffs. So we will be highlighting the NWSL in future episodes through the playoffs and the final. And so we'll be diving into all of these exciting games and more.
Over in Division 1 Feminine. You guessed it. A certain club and another certain club sit tied in first with 12 points each. Lyon and PSG, of course. They're undefeated in their first 4 games. We're really excited to see this rivalry because in the past, obviously, Lyon have been, skies above everybody else. But PSG are coming for them. They keep on building up this rivalry. And we also hope that Bordeaux and Paris FC will be able to challenge for this title too in the coming future. Be an exciting league for us to follow, I think.
Absolutely.
And staying in Europe, we're going to talk Champions League. Group stage next week, so we're going to see some great matchups, including Barcelona versus Arsenal. With Arsenal's newfound footing, this should be a great match. Another fun match is going to be the inevitable Chelsea versus Wolfsburg. And this German side has always been able to compete with the big lifters in the league, so it's definitely going to be a great match to watch.
So excited for these, especially the Barca-Arsenal one, I have to say. Like, Arsenal of last year, I think this would have been a walk for Barcelona, but Arsenal of this year, this is going to be a really fun game.
Weirdly, and I know that this is like the most un-Arsenal thing ever, but they're playing very Barcelona-esque style football. So it's like 2 very equally matched teams. Like, I'm actually really looking forward to this. And like you, Sarah, I never would have thought I would have been saying that like 6 weeks ago even. It's mad.
Right. So excited. We are going to break for a short advertisement, and when we come back, we're going to talk all things Manchester United because Helen was at that game, and all things Leicester City. I almost want to preview that, but I'm not. Let's get into this advertisement, and then we'll talk.
Have you checked out Total Football Analysis yet? TotalFootballAnalysis.com provides researched analysis on loads of football games, including women's football. Want to know why Miedemar scores so many goals? Do you want to explore how City have turned it around this season? Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and sign up to learn more about the beautiful game. We have a special discount for listeners of the Women's Soccer Show. At checkout, type WOSO10 to get a full year for €10. That's €40 off the yearly subscription. Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and type WOSO10 at checkout.
So, guys, I was at the Manchester United versus Chelsea game, kind of there in a little bit of a formal capacity.
Tell us more.
So I was over doing co-commentary for the BBC on the BBC Sport app. Really enjoyable. Definitely, of all of the games that I've done so far in the WSL this season, the most star-studded. So I'm going to start with, I arrived a little bit early and I went up. And I accidentally knocked into Jackie Groening in the corridor, fully though, as in like physically bumped her. She was face masked up.
Did you fall over?
No, as in she had like her kit bag and she went, "Oh, sorry," and I was like, "I definitely bashed into you. So sorry, Jackie." And then I went up to the room and I was all chill, and actually I was being so smooth as cucumber. What? That's not a phrase. And then
cool as a cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber. That's what it is. I was just having some watermelon and just chilling, just waiting for Dom to arrive, who is the commentator. And then in the box next to me, when I say box next to me, 5 meters away, out comes the one and only Serena Weigman, the England manager. And she is like literally talking about the grass, and like she's like, "Oh, like it looks like very well cut grass." Like she's very like analytical, like looking at it, very, very detailed. And then out of the box, because we're in like our own little boxes, comes Razza D, Rachel Daly, Houston Dash captain. And
stop it.
And of course, England legend, and she's been doing such a good job for England recently.
I do think it's hilarious, Helen, that you are doing commentary for Manchester United as a City fan.
I'm very good at being very professional. But you know what? In all seriousness, I really wanted it to be an entertaining match. And if I'm honest, it wasn't really.
Yeah. And I think this was the first game that a lot of people looked at United and said, uh-oh. So, Allie, question for you. Are United a true title contender for this year, or even let alone a Champions League spot contender? Or did this game really prove that they're simply not here to compete with the heavyweights, with Chelsea, with, I don't know, maybe City of last year with Arsenal. Where are they?
I think they're still growing. I think, again, they're this close, but they're not quite there. I think having a change in management and then the lack of recruitment this transfer window has impeded them, because you look at the players other teams have brought in, and I'm not just on about the top three, I'm on about the ones that are fighting them for their spots as well. You look at the players Everton brought in, you look at the players that Reading have brought in, you look at the different players, and they didn't really recruit that well. They got Blondell and a couple of others and then lost a huge amount. So I think this is going to be another settling in season for them, which I know fans may not want to hear, because, you know, this is what, their third season in top flight. But I think they can do well under Mark Skinner's regime and the way he plays, but it's going to take time and they've got to be patient. And I think this is going to be a huge eye-opener for them, because it wasn't just losing to Chelsea, it was being battered by Chelsea.
It was funny because after the Reading game, we had a phone in at the BBC and someone phoned in and they were like, right, we're winning the title, we've got the title and we're bringing it home. And I was obviously loving it because you're live on air. So I'm like, what do you think? Who's going to be the top goal scorer this season? Come on, give it to me. Ella Toon's going to be the top goal scorer. I said, in the whole league. She's like, in Europe. She's going to be the top goal scorer in Europe. And I think you make a really good point, Allie. I'd like to flip it around. You just said a second ago, I know Man United fans won't want to hear this because, you're 3 years in. I know Man United fans won't want to hear this. You're 3 years in. You're 3 years in. You are in your infancy. Chelsea have been building up a backroom staff of, analysts and physios and a team around Emma for 10 years. They've been building towards this for such a long time. I just don't think that Manchester United, are quite treating this at what it is, which is it's a process. And I will say the difference between Manchester United and the rest is going to be facilities long term. It really is. Brighton were saying, we won that game 5-0 a couple of weeks ago because we had an ice bath, because we had the men's facility, because we had a swimming pool, because we had physio. Manchester United just don't have the infrastructure around their women's team. They're still very amateur in their setup.
Yeah, I will say I think Orlando fans will agree. It's a very Mark Skinner style of play to focus on offense and just kind of let the defense slip through the cracks. And that'll fare in the NWSL where games are just tighter from the top to the bottom, but not here when games are more open, if you will. Moving from Manchester United to Chelsea. Chelsea came out in a 3-4-3 this game, a 3-back lineup. And if that's not bold, I'm sorry for this phrase. I'm not going to use it. Never mind. I'm not going to use it.
No, now you said it.
Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know.
I was going to say, without using the words, because my mom's going to listen, some BDE. Okay, fine. Some big dick energy.
Big dick energy! I got there. Emma Hayes made the 3-4-3 decision over the summer, and everybody says it's because of that Barcelona game, because all of the goals and all of the issues came from those flanks, came from the right back and left back issue. And over the summer, it's rumoured that Emma Hayes was trying to bring in a certain player. Nobody knows quite who it is, but she's trying to bring in a certain fullback to basically bolster the squad and ensure that she was going in with a championship, right back and left back. And obviously Maren Mjelde's still out and they've still got that issue. But it looks like she didn't get the player she wanted, because she got rid of Hannah Blundell to Manchester United, who was basically one of her only players left in that position. And she's decided to start this season with 3 at the back. Terrible error against Arsenal, but looks like it could work, no?
It worked in this game, but I will say, she had Millie Bright starting at center back and Jess Carter starting at outside back in the first game when they got pretty much demolished, and then that flipped. She has Jess Carter at center back and Millie Bright in a right back. I mean, technically, when it's a 3-back, they're all really center back, but Millie Bright, for lack of a better term, is playing on the flank right now. So, I mean, is this a great way to win another championship? I can't agree that it is.
What I will say, they overwhelm oppositions in the midfield with you are just surrounded by class in every area. Loopholtz was just just would not leave Ella Toon alone. She would have followed her to the toilet if she'd gone off the pitch. It was just unbelievable. She was following her, staying tight to her. But you know who else was causing problems? Pernille Harder coming back into the midfield, just being another body in that area. It's like they overwhelm the opposition in the midfield, get the ball back, and then they've got, 8, 9 players that are attacking players, like moving forwards up the pitch. It's working for them in the sense that Millie Bright is a beast, so she always will be the one sat back with Jess, and Magdalena Eriksson's a little bit more technical, so is kind of moving into the midfield, and they're leaving the 2 centre backs back to cover, and it's working. I will say we were considering before this season Manchester United as being one of those top teams, and they demolished them with this layout. What do you think, Allie?
Yeah, like, I think every player in Chelsea is world class. Like, they don't have a weak link. So you can afford to take those risks of being, like, only 3 at the back, because you can pretty much guarantee your midfield's going to take care of any threat before they even come anywhere near your defenders. So yeah, I think they may come unstuck with certain players and like certain teams that like to play on that wing, which they did sort of miss last season. But generally, Emma Hayes' faith is going to be in that midfield and that up front. And then you've always got Millie Bright's bonts to get at it.
She was vicious this weekend, Millie Bright. She was just absolutely in full beast mode.
Moving from Manchester United, Chelsea into West Ham, Leicester City. This is a really interesting one that we want to spend a moment on, and not just because Allie's a West Ham fan, but also because Leicester City, obviously newly promoted this year, have not spent any time in the first division here with West Ham, with United, with all of these heavyweight teams, if you will. So, Allie, we know you were at the game. Handing it over to you, what did you see from West Ham that was either the same or different from last year? And what are you seeing from Leicester City? And can they compete here?
I think what I saw in West Ham is what I didn't see in Leicester, which is there's a togetherness in our team which we did not have last season. I think we weeded out the troublemakers, we weeded out the egos and the people that didn't want to be there, and we've now got a core team that like each other and want to play for each other. A bit like with Arsenal, we are going for pressing play. That is how we're going forward. Even Gilly got the assist for our second goal. Like, Gilly is a defender, she shouldn't be that far up. Leicester couldn't string 2 passes together. And I'm not being mean by saying that. Their own captain came out and said that. They could not string 2 passes together, and they were getting lost in our midfield. And that's what I've seen in other Leicester games. You saw it against Man United. You saw it against Aston Villa. Their midfield is disjointed, and they want to try and feed the ball up to Sigsworth or up to Flint, and they can't get there without the other team going, oh, they're the 2 players they're going for. Do I think Leicester can compete? They got to get going. They got to get going soon, because we're the teams they should be beating. If they wanted to compete, they should be beating Aston Villa. They should be beating us, and they're not, and they weren't even close. I mean, they did help us out with 2 own goals, but they weren't even close to competing with us.
So, Allie, looking at Spurs, looking at Brighton, and looking at West Ham, are you in their camp, or are you better than them too?
I think at the moment we're better than them.
Whoa!
We are getting there, my friend. And yeah, I'm confident. I am confident with the way we were playing. I've seen, not just even in our losses, the way I've seen us play, it is a new era for West Ham. I am confident of that.
Okay, so where are you saying this season? Where are you going? Top 6?
Yeah, I reckon we'll be 5th or 6th.
5th or 6th?
You know, I really, really hope that in however many episodes from now, 18, 19, whatever, we can play that little sound clip back, because you were right. With that being said, it's early in the season. 3 matches have been played. Obviously, predictions are predictions. And this early in the season, it's hard to tell, but we're going to do it anyways. Let's just go to each of us. Who do you think is going to win the title, and who do you think will be relegated this season?
I think you've already said yours, isn't it? You're going with Arsenal. Is that right?
Well, I'll go first. I'm going with Arsenal for the title. And I think Birmingham City is being relegated this season.
As the table stands.
As it stands. As the live table stands. I have been really unimpressed with Birmingham City. I was worried about them last year, and I just don't think that they've made enough changes this year. It'll probably come down to Leicester and Birmingham, and I think Birmingham will go down.
I am going to go against Sara, and I'm going to say Chelsea, but I think it will be tight between Arsenal and Chelsea this season. I just think Chelsea have such depth in their squad that I could just see them turning this around.
Chelsea's getting the title. Who's getting relegated?
I think I have to agree with you. I think it has to be Birmingham City. I think when Leicester get a couple of injuries come back through in those forward positions, I think they'll start popping in a couple of goals. I just don't think Birmingham City have done enough in the transfer window, and I don't think they will do enough in the next transfer window, whereas I think Leicester will do everything they can to remain in the WSL because they have the finances behind the club to do so. So unfortunately it comes down to the money bags at the top, I'm afraid. What about you, Allie?
I am going to agree with Sarah. I think Arsenal have got it. I think it's a new Arsenal. It's a new era. We saw them do it a couple of seasons ago, and it's the new manager bounce. And to pile on again, I think it's Birmingham's time.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Birmingham City fans, I promise you we'll be nicer to you.
They clung on last season, and they clung on the season before, but the club doesn't seem interested in their women's team, dare I say. So I think...
They truly don't.
It's sad. It's
a
very
really
sad,
good
but I
point.
do think it might be Birmingham's time to go down.
And we're going for Viv Miedema for Golden Boot this season, guys.
It's hard not to.
I'm saying Sam Kerr. I think the Kirby-Kerr partnership is going to tear it up.
I think it's all about Miedema. Do you get it? Oh, God.
Don't make me pick. Please
Let's
don't
pick
make
the
me
best
pick.
duo. Oh, guys, we're doing a poll. Who's the best duo? Miedema or Kirby?
I'm going to go with... Oh, I get that was a joke. But
It's
I
quite
actually
cool.
was
It's not
taking
quite
that
cool, though.
seriously.
Okay, guys, I'm putting that on our socials immediately. Let's do Golden Boot next week. Let's do Golden Boot next week.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that'll just give me a week to be torn between two of them. Thank you all for joining us on our first episode. You will notice that we forgot to say this in the intro, so I'm going to say it now. You will notice that these episodes are now dropping on Wednesday. We're going to drop every episode this season on Wednesday because of the new schedules rolled out for the WSL and lots of NWSL games. It just works better for us to be able to see all of the games, commentate on the ones that need to be highlighted. So you will be listening to us on Wednesdays from now on. So catch us then. Thank you, everybody. This has been the WOSO Show. I'm Sarah.
I'm Helen.
And I'm Allie.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.